Well, if transforming into deities is your thing, you're in the right place, because Hibiki has had quite the adventure in her short few years, learning quite a bit about the human condition and those that want to overthrow everything, not exactly having everything that means to be alive. And this show simultaneously not putting the main characters in danger while also killing off several others. Not just once, actually. But living much beyond their years and actually recognising that maybe their actions weren't just. Good thing they had a change of heart, at least. Can't be said for everyone. But Miku being the best friend that has ever been, charging headfirst into almost immediate danger just to save a friend, and somehow having quite a good catch considering someone fell from 50 feet in the air. But that's enough procrastinating. We need to watch the episode, so turn up your headphones, grab a drink, and let's start some Symphogear. Starting off once again with what I would say is one of the weaker send-offs for characters that I've seen, but mainly because we had the whole fake out of their deaths before. Senki and her sacrifice here was done quite well. It's quite nice that he just had significant silence after the fact as well. But for Adam to just appear in the thin air, shattering through the sky itself. And just being a out-and-out nuisance. I think having once again Hibiki just be unlimited power? Oh well, so what? Just punch through it. It's quite telling. Good that they got to a somewhat safe distance, at least. And how long is Hibiki going to hold herself accountable? Considering there's been so many attempts of her to reach through the veil to others before them having to sacrifice themselves or anything. And to think it was almost entirely avoidable if certain nationalities were just, or nations were just a little less quick on the button. Well, that wasn't very nice of him. Considering he's lost his chance at greatness, had the arm destroyed as well, and now disregarding the only thing that actually cares. Yes, they would definitely want to help in any way they can. I do like that Hibiki herself is just a bundle of ideals and hoping things to work out and people can see eye to eye. But it is in that kind of straight thinking naivety that actually brings people together. Been a while since we've seen an onslaught of noise. And if this is just pure reason to pull out the budget so they can start slashing away at noise and having some fun fight scenes, I'm behind it, actually. If they're always going to be together and fight as a duo, is there a better way of showing it than that? Combining the saw and the scythe. Is it cumulative? Damn that curse. If only there was a way to break through pseudo-religion. Just taking that head on, even if it wasn't a full powered attack to in trying to kill her or anything. Distract him from one direction, launch a fist at his face from another. Well, when you got her gauntlets in overdrive there, it's going to be quite the explosion, but we can't just let it... What the hell? Let it end that easily. Is he becoming a Resident Evil villain? I think so, yes. It reminds me of a certain Yu-Gi-Oh card. Can't remember what it's called, though. But if you're going to have a big reveal, losing oneself and losing one's form, yeah, cool. Have it a weird multi-eye presence. Wow. Okay, if it can just suddenly up its speed by 400%. Nothing that big should move at that... Where, yeah, I thought that was part of, like, Adam or Saint Germain or whatever, but no. The phone is just there sometimes. The phone itself is a weapon. Good thing she wasn't firing at the time. The remnant of... Oh, well, that didn't... That didn't work right as intended. That... Why has the security feed been frozen? And once again, even if the resonance isn't as good as it can be, feeding into one another, okay. Well, we'll soon find out, won't we? Doing whatever they can in order to limit the damage caused to them. Multi-berserk mode. Couldn't admit, didn't think I'd see that, but just going to full kind of battle stage. No need to care about the surrounding area since it has already been incinerated. But even your perfection wasn't good enough. I do like that Chris is basically being used as transport there and her rockets. The Vanguard taking out some of the limbs. I mean, if there's anything they're good at, it is kind of thinking on their feet, ad-libbing the path forward. I mean, it would be... What was that shout? It would be seriously easier if they did have X-Drive or whatever, but... with their powers didn't last. With their powers combined, they're able to do something to him. But if there's anyone that could transcend the need of being decontaminated or whatever, probably Hibiki, considering she's harnessed godly powers and almost became pure crystal herself. What else has happened to her? I do like the Godzilla-esque beam. The Triforce. Why not gain power from everyone and not become prismatic? What I've always kind of been interested in and curious about is if someone suddenly becomes ultra powerful and they gained the abilities of the others, they also seem to immediately know or intrinsically know how to use them as well. Anunnaki. But just... I guess the power of the stars and whatnot actually still being beside her in that moment. Gungnir-tron. Wonder how much of that would be worth. Alchemist or not, Hibiki defies expectations and logic. You'd think he would have learned that by now. Not sure what movie that's from, but she did her research. Multiple consecutive normal punches. His last will and testament. Wasn't worth much, was it? Why did it remind me of like the anti-spiral just then? So, is Gungnir still going to be usable going forward if pushed to that limit and without the... Okay, all clear. Nice. And doing further tests just to make sure. Alright, yes. How can Hibiki, a mere human, harbour that power? Get into the very etymology of sin. Wow, okay. They didn't put up much of a fight, did they? Excuse me? What was with Goathead there? Was the Illuminati satanic? Quite a lot just been thrown out there. So is there not going to be any repercussions? Okay, cool. Condemn, but that's about it. As far as power goes, if it can be militarily harnessed, you'd think that quite a few nations would want that. Why is that building and that building only covered in ivy? At least now the room isn't in darkness. I do not envy whoever has to clear up all of that crap, though. The party streamers and whatnot. Quite the spread. Also, those are some bite-sized little sandwich sections. But she thought she'd give it a go. That doesn't sound like much of a challenge. Just... good way to stop any sort of argument. The tomatoes are back again. But I've forgotten what it was I was about to say. But where's it going to be without life and death, danger? That's a party game. Life and death, danger, almost destruction of the nation. Could see he's going through physio. If not to just immediately cut to a birthday party and people enjoying themselves and filling their face with apparently good food. Not the best stacking, but making the use of physics there. I prefer the more Tetris approach, making it take as little space as possible. But the thing is, this research that F9 is going through, what is she about to uncover? Original sin, why Hibiki was able to become godly. It's got to be something more than just her sense of justice, her character. But what if that isn't right, and what if her sense of justice becomes warped slightly, like Saint Germain and the reason why they were fighting through everything? I suppose, yeah, having Miku as that, I said it before actually, that grounding that she can always come back to. No matter the fight that she's going through in the realm of like all the Symphogears and the noise and whatnot. We could all use someone like Miku in our lives. Give that kind of unreserved pep talk whenever we need it. Nothing but black credits again. But much like Prismatic Hibiki, now hearing that all of the team sing together, and how many, I know there's another season, but how many more people out there wanting kind of ultimate power no matter what, and where can it go from taking the very power of the heavens, incorporating it into human form, etc. Where can it go? We've had trying to destroy the moon, now powers from heaven, etc. and several seasons and arcs in between that. Is it going to up the ante or have it a lot more personal in its danger? Depends what the writing decides. I might have just slightly been sliding over to the middle of the screen. Ah, there is after credit. Miku, the curse, the scab. Huh? So more than just her being a somewhat upstanding person. But somehow what, she shed herself of that sin itself? Huh. What a hypothesis that is. So can we just find anything of the Senshujin still? And so there's someone out there still on the realms of purity that Hibiki is now, free of sin. How could this possibly go wrong? As far as episodes and seasons go, ending it off on a happy note or enjoying a birthday, yep, as expected. Ending it off on, hang on a second. Hibiki is not the only one that is freed of the curse of Bilal. Okay. What's the ramifications of that? Of course, Miku now being kind of on her level is kind of nice, as long as there isn't deep-rooted issues that are going to be alongside that. And as far as ultimate entities go, finishing off the season with very ultimate worm beast Resident Evil conglomerate boss. Could have asked for better, but simultaneously kind of makes sense. Did Tiki deserve that? I mean, her fate was kind of set in stone from the beginning. She was built to kind of be attached to him, but that being his own downfall because of it, that's justice in its own right, but still. All she wanted was a hug. Didn't deserve to be blown in half and stepped on. Or maybe she did, who knows? But the shining golden god, our one true emperor that is Hibiki in her newest battle suit, that was a sight to behold. How many costume changes does that make? I'm sure there's plenty to go. And does that also mean that we're going to have several more six-way sonatas? Having them all join in on the song together. I wouldn't be against it. But are they needed anymore? Considering, well, we've now had Hibiki be able to pick up and use each one of their kind of trademark skills. Are they fine with this? There's plenty of research to be done, I'm wondering if the next arch enemy is going to be a being out for ultimate power, like several others, or to destroy the moon or overthrow humanity, etc., etc., or a fight against an actual nation, considering America needs to have a little, not retribution, but sanctions for almost destroying Japan. Well, to find out and to follow along, we're going to have to watch more, but this season as a whole, it exceeded my expectations in some areas, fell short in others, bringing in aspects of Chris's backstory and her having to make a decision, cutting off the kid's leg and him going through physiotherapy and getting back on it and whatnot. Cool. How did that tie into anything else? Oh, it didn't? Okay. Having what was her name? Which one's Shirabe and which one's Kitty? Having the green one make a mistake, have people pay the consequences for it, and then learning from that and overcoming it in a few episodes. I mean, that's kind of how Symphogear does it. It brings out an issue, and then it gets resolved an episode or two later. Nothing bad in that. I just kind of hope that the learned lesson would come back into full swing and be useful. Or maybe her charging head first into the beams and trying to stop them with herself was a way of paying deeds to what she got wrong before. But plenty of music on the horizon for us to enjoy. But to get there, we're going to have to watch more. So if you've enjoyed this season and this episode, let me know. leave a like and a comment down below. A subscription to the channel? No. And if you're so inclined, and if you think I've earned it today, maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help me out, gives me a little boost of encouragement. If you already have, maybe join onto my Discord. Any notifications and memes and whatnot usually get put on there first. So, for now, take care of yourselves. Think forward ahead into the future. What do you want to see? I'll see you for the next one. And with that, I need to thank my patrons who've always had my back and given me the sweet tomatoes of the birthday party that is my channel. So I do need to thank Sal, AGSDR, Darky26, Guado, Kite, Reds Racer, Ultra Pouring, Wolfie Sensei, Zug, and everyone else. For if it wasn't for all of you out there, I really couldn't even make the joke that I'm pure, but there's definitely no godly powers available here.